Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Elizabeth, and on this channel we work on building your spiritual confidence so you can listen to your intuition and read your tarot cards with ease. And today we are going to be looking at the Knight of Wands. In particular, I'm going to be talking about the elements. I'm going to talk about the Kabbalah. I'm going to talk about the astrological timing. And I'm going to do a deep dive into the actual meaning of the images on this card as drawn by Pamela Coleman Smith. I know you're looking at me and you're saying, Elizabeth, oh my goodness, not the Waite Smith again. But this deck is actually the most popular deck in the world. It is the deck that has done the best job of summarizing all of the older tarot decks that went before. And most modern decks are based on this deck. So once you have learnt the Waite Smith, you can read any deck that comes past you. So if you're wanting to take a deeper dive into understanding this card, stick with me. We're going to spin the camera around and I'm going to show you the symbolism of the Knight. I'm going to show you the symbolism of the Knight of Wands. See you in a minute. So let's have a look at the Knight of Wands. Now, I'm going to be relying on my tarot symbolism cheat sheets because, as I've said to you, cheat sheets are a marvelous thing. You don't have to memorize anything. You can refer to these. And the whole point of learning this symbolism is not to memorize it, is to have it kind of go into your mind via osmosis, and it's just a tool we use to get a sense of the meaning of the card so that as you're doing your writing, particularly if you're doing my card a day challenge, and if you want to know more about the challenge, it's a free daily card reading challenge. Connect with yourdeck.com/challenge, and I will put the link down in the description box for you and also in the first comment so that you can click on that and go and register for the challenge if you are interested in learning more about that. Because ultimately, I don't want you sprouting off the meaning of the card. It's boring, and your readings won't have soul. They won't be connecting with spirit, and you certainly won't be telling the person who chose you to read for them, or you won't be hearing the messages that you need to hear for yourself when you're reading if you're not connected with your deck. So the idea is we learn all of this stuff, or maybe it's better for me to express it as we learn about all of this stuff so that a little bit of it will stick. Enough of it will stick that you need to learn in terms of you thinking about the deeper meaning of the card so you can sort of synthesize that into your own life's experience so that when you're reading, you get this really rich understanding of the cards in front of you in a spread. So, having said that, let's have a look at the Knight of Wands. The Lord of Flame and Lightning is its Golden Dawn title. And again, we follow the Golden Dawn symbolism because it's like a measuring post that we can use to understand the cards. And most modern decks come back to the Waite Smith. Not all, but most. So it makes it really easy once you know this deck to know any deck. Now, if you're interested in my tarot symbolism cheat sheets, they're available in my Etsy shop, and I will make sure there is a link down in the description box for you if you're interested in having these so you can follow along with the deeper symbolism and all my notes as I do the videos. Some things I remember to talk about and some things I don't, and everything is on these cheat sheets. So you've got this one, which is sort of the deeper notes. Then you've got this one, which is a bit of a cheat sheet you can look at, and a worksheet as well. All right, so the Royal Arcana. Now, we spoke about the Page of Wands. And the Page of Wands sits outside of the astrological wheel. So if we look at the astrological wheel, you've got the Page of Wands. The Ace of Wands rules through the Page or the Princess of Wands out here in space. Now we start to have some timing allocations again, and they get a little bit confusing because the way that the Royal Arcana works is it's pushing the card. They push the cards around, Widdershins around the astrological wheel. We're starting with Wands for no other reason than that's the order in the book T. Wands, Cups, Swords, Pentacles, and as you can see, they're placed Widdershins around the astrological wheel. So we have the Knight of Wands starting in the third decan of Cancer here and pushing around into finishing at the second decan of Leo. So around they go. So it's pushing Cancer into Leo. So that's your placement. July 12th to August 11, which are the dates of the decans. And of course, the decan is just your 30-degree quadrants on the astrological wheel. So these 30-degree quadrants on the astrological wheel that break up each one of the star signs. So, what is the Knight of Wands? He's pushing Cancer through into Leo. So he is classical element of air and the suit is fire. And we are talking about masculine energy. So fire and air are active. They support each other. The air feeds the fire. And so we get this fiery energy of the Knight of Wands. So if we understand the elemental correspondence behind, we understand why this knight is very different to air of water, air of air, and air of earth. Now you can see why each one of these knights is different. You've got a fiery knight here. The horse is rearing up. We've got the red on his neck and on his flanks. He's sweating. It's off. He's on a mission. Then you've got air of water, the calming influence of the water. Air of air, air building on air. And I always talk about the Knight of Swords sweeping into your life and whisking you away on his horse. And then Knight of Pentacles, so the grounding influence on air. And each one of these I will speak about separately in a separate video. So I'm not going to talk about them today because I can't do them justice. We end up with a video that goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. All right, so Knight is air, the suit is fire. Masculine energy. So this is the energy of the wands. Get out there and make it happen with a wand that's active, that wants to take action. We have got the letter vow. Trust your oath and allegiance. So this is about looking deep inside yourself, and all around you to see the connections in your life and how they connect to the wider world and the universe. The Knight of Wands is activated by the King, so again, masculine energy, and the Queen, feminine energy. So both energies. This Knight of Air of Fire representing the huge energy that can turn in any direction and has the potential for disruption. And as you can see, this is a Knight of disruption. 100%. Placement on the Tree of Life is Tippereth or beauty. The beauty of self, spiritual consciousness and self and the higher masters, understanding the harmony of all things and helping and transformation. So we're looking at personal consciousness on a fiery, deeper level. So if we look at the Knight of Wands in terms of symbolism on the card, the horse, as I said, is rearing up. You've got what looks like, a red heat in his neck and heat on his flanks. So this is a huge energy. This is a knight out into the battle of the world. He's got his armor on, he's got his flaming feathers, he's holding an active wand, and he is out there ready to take on the world. So your armor is both preparation and protection, but also can be a little bit indicate that you might be a little bit too fixed in your ways. You might be a little bit too boisterous or pushy, and you could be a little bit stubborn in your thoughts and ideas. The salamanders on the tunic, again, are repeated. We can see here like they were in the page. And if you haven't watched that video, please make sure you do and follow all the videos through in order. It helps you to understand the flow of the cards. So you've got the salamanders on the tunic. Salamanders are a magical animal that can push through fire, survive through fire. They symbolize magic and spirituality and the ability to withstand challenges. And of course, the circle indicates the circularity of life. Again, in the desert, and we talked about that with the page. So the pyramids are about timeless wisdom, science. They're about transformation. And, you know, if you think about the mummies in the pyramids, this eternal life and transforming from one state to another. Being in the desert, you can go through personal hardship. You have the power. You have the power to overcome anything that gets in your way. And again, you think about the fiery energy of a desert and the heat, which sits in with the elemental allocation of this card being fire. The blue sky, clarity of thought, being able to have a clarity of purpose. So your thinking's clear. You're just hugely boisterous about it. You think about the air, you know, stoking the fire with the hot poker, and it flares up. That's the night. Again, red plumes, energy, passion, and vigor for life. Yellow symbolism, energy, drive, clarity of thought, enthusiasm. And the grey symbolism of the armour can be, generally grey is an expression of confusion, but here I think it's just accentuating the armour and this idea of being ready for anything as the Knight of Wands. So how would you read this card? Well, you can read it in terms of the energy it's expressing. In the Page of Wands, I talked about the fact that some people read these cards as someone coming into your life, and you might want to read this as young, enthusiastic, masculine energy coming into your life. Some people would read it literally and say there is going to be a young, enthusiastic male, and then they might say it's indicating a relationship. That's up to you and what actually is in your thoughts if you're reading for someone else or reading for yourself, and that's your own spiritual messages that you're going to convey. Or you can talk about it in terms of the energy that the card is conveying and read it like you would read any other card in the deck. People talk about the Royal Arcana being really hard to read. It's not hard to read. It's really up to you how you want to interpret it. As I said in the last video, Arthur Waite is pretty specific about his thoughts about how he wanted the cards interpreted, and they're pretty limiting interpretation. So I wouldn't, I'd encourage you to be aware of them, but I wouldn't encourage you to use them because I think they're too limiting. It's a gorgeous card, and I certainly do like to see it when it comes into a reading, because I tend to read it in terms of the energy that's there, the fire and the air, and talk about the energy that it might be expressing for somebody in their reading. It's really up to you. I hope you've really enjoyed hearing about the Knight of Wands. Our next video, of course, is the Queen of Wands and then the King of Wands. The Queen of Wands is one of my favorite cards, so I'm going to enjoy talking about her. And she certainly pulls we'll talk about it when I show you. But the Queen of Wands, where is she? I can see the King. Where is Queen? Here she is. She's right around here. And she is pulling the wheel around from Pisces through to Aries. So another interesting chat about the card. So that is Knight of Wands. If you love my video, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notifications bell. And I will see you in the next video. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.